Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Public Forum this morning. The Gary Sansing Public Forum is intended for matters not included on the agenda for the upcoming Board of County Commissioner meeting. Citizens wishing to address the items on the agenda should sign up to speak at such items at the regular Board of County Commissioner meeting, which will follow this. Speakers shall refrain from abusive and profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protests, and other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the public forum. Each speaker is limited to, and I normally wouldn't do this, but we have already 16 speakers, so we'll have to do 2 minutes today. At the chairperson's discretion, the Gary Sansing Public Forum may end 5 minutes prior to this. We may go a little bit over and have to start the regular meeting a few minutes later. Our first speaker is Donna Vazana, and then Michael Vazana is on deck. Is Donna Vazana out there? Okay, Michael Vazana. I'm assuming they're related. Maybe not. Okay, Elizabeth Woodham. Okay, we have people. Come on up, Elizabeth. And then Samantha Mosley's on deck. Thank you. Welcome this morning.
Hi there. Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Woodham. I'm a civil rights advocate, and I need to provide public notice to Escambia County. This is in accordance with USCS Rules of Civil Procedures, as well as Rule 17 and Rule 20 of the United States Supreme Court. The Constitution of the United States has the overarching requirements that every state must follow. Clause 1 of the Amendment 5 states, "No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on presentment or indictment by a grand jury." However, the state of Florida has enacted its own alternative legislation that permits prosecuting attorneys and police officers to charge by way of information as opposed to indictment. An emolument violation is when you pay a public official to break the law. The Constitution has 2 areas that enforces this. Article 1, Section 10 says, "No state shall create any law that shall impair the obligation of contracts." Police officers, prosecutors, judges are all under a contract. A contract to perform based on the oath or affirmation that they took to support and defend the Constitution. 14th Amendment is the other place that you'll find the reinforcement of this issue. And that is where it states that no state shall create or enforce any law that shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the United States citizens. The privileges and immunities of United States citizens are at a minimum those enumerated within the Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments, unfortunately, the state of Florida has enacted a law in its inferior constitution that permits public officials, judges, law enforcement officers, whom you all pay, to violate the Constitution of the United States. As a result, there is an inordinate amount of people currently in prison in the state of Florida illegally and unconstitutionally. Tanoa Downing is litigating this issue at the United States Supreme Court. I'm here to notify you that if you continue to pay public officials to break the law...
Ms. Woodham, you got to wrap up your time.
I'm sorry?
You have to wrap up your time.
Okay. Criminal sanctions can come from that. I'm asking you honorable individuals to please take a look at Clause 1 of Amendment 5, confirm what I'm saying to be true, and then direct your public officials to act in lawful constitutional manner consistent with the obligation.
I have several speakers. I hate to cut you off, but you have to move on. Samantha Mosley, thank you for briefing us. Samantha Mosley, if you would come up. Is Samantha there? And then Jessica Saxton, you're on deck. And if you're on deck, just come up because we're going to go past the time if not. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Samantha Mosley, and I'm a mother from Escambia County. I'm here to put this county on notice for the systematic corruption that has destroyed my family and so many others. What's happening under the Families First Network and the Department of Children and Families and Juvenile Dependency Court is not protection. It's human rights crisis. My children, I now know, were unlawfully removed by CPS investigator with no warrant, no due process, and no valid reason. That single act began 3 years of trauma and separation until August 2022 when my rights were terminated. Families First Network, the organization this county helps fund and oversee, their caseworkers were negligent and unaccountable. They ignored calls, failed to offer services, and pushed for adoption instead of reunification. And now 3 current FFN employees, including Denise Webb, have recently been arrested and charged for abusing children. Yet this county stayed silent. Their mug shots were hidden, their bonds were only $2,000, and no public statement was made. That's a slap in the face to every parent who has been accused, investigated, or had their life and family destroyed by the same system for far less. Who is protecting the children in this county when even your contracted child protectors with our taxpayer money is being arrested for child abuse? Commissioners, you may not control the judges or the court-appointed attorneys, but you do control the oversight and funding for Families First Network. You can demand audits, investigations, and accountability. You can insist on transparency so this corruption no longer exists. My name is Samantha Mosley. I have built a community on TikTok of 8,000 moms with stories like mine. I have my own show on CPS Breaking News. I created a Facebook group, Pensacola Parents Protecting Children from DCF. I am not going anywhere. I will not be silenced, and you will see and hear from me again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your comments. I'm going to look into this. I don't know enough about this, but I have concerns with it. Jessica Sexton, please come up.
Will you please come up here? I'll go ahead and get started for
Yes,
time's sake.
please.
Thank you so much. My name is Jessica Saxon. I'm a civil rights advocate. I am actually in active litigation at this point. I'm here to provide notice. This is in accordance with USCS Rules of Civil Procedure, as well as Rule 17 and Rule 20 from the United States Supreme Court. This sweet baby, Rochelle, she was born on September 15th, 2022. What exactly, or how much does this baby cost? Well, I can tell you how much this baby cost. This baby cost whatever these adoptive parents are willing to pay for her, and however much the state was incentivized to take this child from these loving, fit, healthy parents and put them with these adoptive parents. That's how much that baby was worth. When this child came in to this world, she was born with rights to liberty, pursuit of happiness. Title 4D, Title 4E, and Title 4B, as you all know, incentivizes the state, incentivizes this county to remove children unlawfully from loving, fit, healthy parents. Unfortunately, this is happening at scale across the country, but it's happening at scale in this county. This woman had her baby removed in the same manner within a month. No drugs, no history of alcohol, no abuse, no nothing. This parent, same exact issue. No drugs, no alcohol, no history of abuse. These stories are not an exception. It's a pattern, and it is absolutely created by the incentives of Title 4D funding through this state. Now, I have in my possession what is called prima facie evidence, and these are prima facie evidence in the form of affidavits. This is 28 U.S.C. 1746. I will serve each of you today with this prima facie evidence that these judges in this county are committing crimes, felony crimes against these children. And it's a felony because under Title 18, U.S.C. 242, deprivation of rights has occurred in these cases. Judge Williams needs to be removed from office tomorrow. And if you continue to pay him, it's an emolument violation. If you continue to fund that facility, it is an emolument violation. It is a crime, and it is illegal. So I'm dropping service each of you. You've now been made aware. Misprision of felony will now be on your hands. It is up to you to report these crimes, these prima facie evidence of crimes, to the FBI and to the appropriate agency. We cannot
Ms.
continue to
Sexton,
let this go.
thank you for your comments. And obviously, if we're being served, we'll be working with our legal department. Lee and Rhonda Miller, if you would please come up.
That's me.
Okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
Where can I deliver
Yeah,
these?
Tim, will you grab them for him? Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Leanne Rhonda Miller. I'm a former surviving foster child from 1987 to 1992. I feel I was attacked again. Dependency Court 2006-7 here, Escambia County, did case plan. Judge Edward P. Nickerson III, that case closed. Attacked again 2011 and 12, where again, in Dependency Court for a falsified arrest, I had to basically defend myself and everything, did my case pro se. That was Judge Ross Goodman. I call it beating DCF, 9 months at trial where they illegally held my children in foster care. Now I'm being attacked again as a grandparent by them attacking my daughter, which was standing up here with me, Larissa Marie Orris. They stole my grandson, 823. They stole him from Sacred Heart Ascension Hospital, complicity, illegal medical kidnapping involved. The case, the child was taken 823, no due process, substantial procedure, no paperwork whatsoever. Here I have a docket case for my daughter's dependency case. I'm more than happy to hand this in. They kidnapped my grandson. Case was not filed until 826, but yet they removed him on 823, 2024. He's still in the dependency court. My behavior consists of, for my visits being banned by Judge Now, it was Thomas Williams, then it was Randall Todd Harris, now it's Coleman Lee Robinson. January 30th, I did testify, I was allowed to speak finally on my daughter's dependency court. My behavior consists of the Constitution. And because I said I had a concealed carry, they said I was threatening because they did not do a background check correctly, a second-degree background to give me my grandson back. They banned my visits. They're also thinking they have authority over me. I'm not even a party to the dependency case, and not in no dependency courts. My case is closed. I have the case numbers here, too. I also filed an extended guardianship, which stayed in court downtown. 3 judges there, Jenny Kenzie, Stephen Peartree, and also Magistrate Keith McGyver. Order staying action, unredacted. They told me to get the other court to relinquish. I proved under perjury and oath. The case numbers are, and I'm going to put them on record here. My closed dependency case is very backed up file, 2006 DP 00244. My daughter's dependency case, 2024 DP 00292.
Ms. Miller, you're going to have to close your thoughts. Just wrap it up for me. If you don't
Okay,
mind.
and the last case number is 2024 DR 004-382. That's the order staying order for extended guardianship of my grandson. They still will not relinquish. On 9/30, they tried this year.
Ms.
and
Miller,
served my daughter with
I'm sorry.
termination of parental rights. We need all the help we could get. Please,
I understand,
God,
and I
help us.
appreciate,
Thank
my
you.
heart's wrenching hearing these
Thank you
stories.
so much. Please stop funding this. Please
Larissa
help us get these kids
Karis, or Larissa Orris. Is Larissa Orris out there? Am I saying that right?
Larissa Orris.
Okay, please come up. Kimmy Baker's on deck.
Hello, everyone. My name is Larissa Orris. I am a daughter whose mom was in the system. I am also a daughter who, along with their siblings, was in the system. Now, standing here today, I am a mom, first-time mother of a beautiful 1-year-old baby boy whose child is currently in the system, and I just want my baby out. I have not done anything wrong. They're refusing to give my kid back. They've already set the goal from reunification to adoption, and now next month they are trying to officially terminate my rights. I have been doing everything they've asked. I have not done anything wrong. I just want my baby back, and I wanted to just come up here and say that. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry. Kimmy Baker, is Kimmy here? Okay. Crystal Mathis, is Crystal Mathis here? Okay, Crystal, come on up.
Hello, my name is Crystal Mathis. I stand before you today as a concerned mother and advocate for my daughter, Rochelle Talley Pitsikolis. I want to address the troubling circumstances surrounding my family's experience with the child welfare system. Sorry, I apologize, I'm nervous. I have faced unfounded accusations that my daughter was born prematurely due to drug exposure. These claims are not only false, but have led to severe consequences for my family. When Rochelle was born, the CPS investigator was present at the hospital despite my clear assertions that there was no drug exposure. My words and the evidence supporting my claims were disregarded. There was on-site testing conducted at Sacred Heart that contradicted the allegations against me. Laboratory tests on my blood, urine, and Rochelle's umbilical cord confirmed there was no drug exposure. There was absolutely no drug exposure. These tests directly contradicted the narrative established by the state, yet they were ignored. It is disheartening to see how bias has premeditated this process from Judge Fry to Judge Thomas Williams. When I presented evidence that proved my innocence, it seemed as if though it held no value. I was told that once the case plan was signed, the focus shifted away from the truth and towards an agenda profited from the removal of my child. What should have been an exciting and joyful time in our family became overwhelming, filled with fear and confusion. It is painful to think that many families suffer in silence, wrongfully accused and misunderstood by a system designed to protect them. I implore you as county commissioners to take a stand for fairness and justice. Families like mine deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. We ask for a system that values the truth and transparency, ensuring that decisions are made based on facts, not assumptions or financial gain. Today, I advocate for my daughter and all families facing similar injustices. I ask for your support in creating a system that prioritizes the well-being of children while respecting the rights of parents. Thank you for your time and consideration. Together, we can ensure the truth prevails and justice is served. Thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
Crystal, and thank you for your comments. Chris Kerb, you're up next, and then Albert Jackson's following Chris.
I'm not sure how to follow that. I really didn't prepare much this morning, but I'm going to speak on something I keep speaking on. The stormwater ordinance that was before you on February 20th of 2025, that you kicked the can down the road, and you something that your staff have been working on for about 2 years through the professional advisory committee, your planning board, your engineering department, and kick the can down the road. I'm asking you to pick that can up. The reason you kicked the can down the road was maybe because you had 3 speakers up here from the West Florida Home Builders Association that were against it because it's going to cost them a little bit of money. 5 to 20% more volume in your stormwater ponds. Your engineering liaison for the West Florida Home Builders Association challenged me at this dais, saying that using old rainfall data, obsolete archived rainfall data that is identified by DOT in 2023 is not to be used for design. Said, well, tell us where we got problems. You can't tell us. Well, I can tell you where you got problems. You got $1.3 million to just spend on Oakfield Acres. You got $1.5 million on a basin study you're doing in Bayou Marcus Basin Branch B because your floodplain has been overloaded by stormwater ponds that are not adequate in size in the watershed. I've given you many different problems of many different sites that have been approved over the years using old rainfall data and substandard that does not reference federal
Chris, wrap up.
rainfall data. I'll take it up next time. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Albert Jackson, you're up. Jerry Price, you're on
I need
deck.
someone to help me with the USB drive.
Okay, Jerry, you come up and speak in the interest of time. Mr. Jackson, just sit down, and unless we could get someone to help him with the USB, he'll come up after this. All right, Jerry, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Jerry Price. I live at 27 Gulf Street. Last session, I spoke about asking for signatures on a study. This morning at 7 o'clock, I talked with Sean Lowry at DOT, and I asked him about a study and how it's done. And he said it's submitted, and Escambia County competes with 4 or 5 other counties to get a study done for a change on that intersection of Mobile Highway and New Warrington Road, and you're taking the median out and you're putting in a turn lane. This traffic backs up all the way to Lillian Highway, a quarter of a mile to turn north onto Mobile Highway. And it's a major intersection. You have panhandling. There's a signal box on the corner of that intersection, and you have camping during the day and night. The police can enforce it during the night, but they can't really enforce it during the day. And I asked Mr. Lowry if he could put up a no camping, no trespassing sign at that signal box, and he said that's possible. So that's a little bit of the solution. How long does it take to get a study done? He said 6 months to a year, and that's submitting it. So a signature with all of your signatures on it, a request form for a study to be done is important. And it's not something that's going to happen immediately. Trespassing issue. We have companies that are out of state, and they could care less about their properties, and you got all these homeless trespassing, sleeping, using them as a staging ground to put their trash and go panhandle and stay in an area. Need stronger trespassing ordinances for the police, and they are doing a good job. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Albert Jackson? Oh, thanks, Casey, for helping. And Laura Begros is on deck.
You can
Yeah.
play the first one.
We can't.
Yes, you can play it. It's information. You can, excuse me. You can play it. Thank you.
Sir.
Stand.
Hey,
You can
Mr.
play it.
Jackson, please,
Sir, I need
let's
to
be
screen this
respectful.
first.
No,
Sir.
you can play it. It was
Mr.
given to me by the Escambia County Sheriff's
Please,
Office.
sir,
You can
please
play
don't
it.
touch me.
This is my 14-year.
Hey, Mr.
I was accused-
Mr. Jackson,
Bank robbery.
Mr. Jackson, you do not touch a staff employee, period. You have no right to touch a fellow employee. Control
I'm using the
yourself.
mic. I have a right to speak, and I have a right to show this information.
Sir, I just need
You don't
to-
have a you don't have a
You
right
can
to
speak.
start it.
We will let you speak, but I don't know what you got on there. I don't know what's going on. I'm more than
Yeah,
welcome to give you your 2 minutes, but what is the issue, Casey?
I just don't know what the contents of this video are, and we are live streaming, so I need to make sure it's not anything graphic. The title of the video is Caleb Torture.
Allison,
So
I need guidance.
We have an FCC license, and you do have some obligation to make sure, to the extent reasonably possible, that we don't display obscene or other inappropriate, illegal material. So she's not wrong.
So, Mr. Jackson, can you speak and they can screen it and you can bring it back at another meeting? So I didn't know this was going to be.
You've had other people come up here and speak, and they put a USB drive and they hit play.
Is there something on there that would be offensive?
Everything's offensive.
Well,
Offensive is not a.
I give you got 2 minutes, sir. You got your 2 minutes to speak.
Allison, would it be all right if I take this back and screen it? Thank you.
Of course.
And you can start speaking, and I'll let Casey figure out if there's something on there that we
Yes.
shouldn't be presenting.
Well, that would be 4 minutes. Why wouldn't we just, if we're going to see that, then let's speak it?
Yeah, okay, let me actually take a seat. I'll let her look at it, and a good point. Okay, Laura Begros come on up. Boy, this is, you never know what to expect.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Laura Bigra. I always tell everyone it's like Mardi Gras.
Okay.
I'm here to speak on the beach public versus,
Will you put the microphone over,
Oh,
ma'am? I
sorry,
can't hear
yes.
you. All right.
so we are all confused about the application of SB 1622. Our hope while watching DeSantis make the announcement was that this would immediately resolve our problems with beach access number one, and the difficulties we've had with the security interactions and yellow tape between La Playa and Beach Colony condos. What we found was a more aggressive security stance and more altercations, as the condos have been emboldened rather than deterred. I'm gonna, okay. Our reading of SB 6122 is that it repeals the law passed in 2018, HB 631, and gives decision-making authority back to local governments regarding recreational customary use on beaches. Local governments, not local lawsuits. In the speech announcing the passing of 6122, it was even stated that one of the goals was to eliminate the problem with each county dealing with multiple lawsuits on a case-by-case. Okay, many of us believe that the board should preemptively make a decision about the 75-foot guideline with specific care given to clear communication about what is allowed as far as signage, on the beach, the type, size, and quantity of private property signs permitted with yellow police tape, rental chairs, ropes, and umbrellas blocking off the property lines. It seems that beachfront property owners decided that the 3-sign rule was only meant to apply. We believe that it should be made clear to all security staff, especially off-duty personnel from the Sheriff's Department in uniform and their prominently parked Escambia County-issued sheriff's vehicles, that no one should approach or engage in the harassment-style techniques
Laura, can you wrap up your
in the
thoughts?
2025 season.
Thank you for your comments. Ally Brooks, are
that's
you
me,
Ally?
yep.
Okay, and then Francis Ortiz on deck. Go ahead, Ally.
Okay, so it is a bad look for off-duty county sheriff's department employees in full uniform to be antagonistically engaged in arguing with residents and tourists, making threats that seem official given their attire and vehicle. We all have issue with the altercations in the department vehicles parked and running all day at the entrance to the public beach. It's intimidating, unnecessary, and wasteful. It appears to residents that they as taxpayers are paying for the county employees to bully and intimidate as directed by a few large condos. Is this the message that we want to send to current and prospective residents? Is this how Perdido Key wants to say welcome to paradise? We are losing our tourists to Orange Beach. Our full-time residents, taxpayers, and homeowners are losing the joy that the beach has always provided. None of us want to have to fight a battle just to enjoy our beaches. We are approached upon entering the public beach access and warned about the perceived property lines, told we can't even put a chair in the wet sand. We are allowed to walk on the beach, but only in the wet sand. We have been told we will be cited for trespassing if we walk on their sand. It seemed, sorry, hold on one second. It's just, how much, okay,
You got time.
wait. I wasn't supposed to have to talk, and so now my stuff's all messed up. It seems, ready? It seems that it should commonsensically be in all our interests that these practices be stopped, and lacking that common sense, the board should make a clear decision regarding this. So my question was very specifically in the meeting on October 2nd. I think the county attorney had addressed a lawsuit coming up on October 20th. Can you guys answer the question, like, are you guys waiting for that to make a decision about customary use? Is it, yes, is that, like, are we waiting for a precedent and then the question is that not going to take years, like with appeals and things like that? I mean, because the law was passed in 2018, the House bill, which was repealed by the Senate bill. So, like, this is a years-long situation that we're looking at. Am I incorrect? I'm actually
Ms.
probably
Brooks,
asking
you
the
got to
county
wrap
attorney.
up your thoughts.
Okay, let's see. So,
Francis Ortiz, okay, come on up, ma'am. And Kimberly Combs is on deck. Did I say your last name right?
No, my name is Frances Opitz.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. It's hard. It's a hard one.
And then-
Good morning, everybody. Could you answer her question? I mean, we're all together on this. I'm here today to explain the horrible situation at Perdido Key. Do you have an answer for her by any chance? No?
We are waiting. We are waiting.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to try to explain what the situation is in Perdido Key. It's a nice day, and you want to go to the beach, okay? So it starts with you seeing a county, oh, I better put my glasses on here. Whew. A county department vehicle parked, running all day long. Absolutely running. The car is running all day long at the entrance of the public beach, which seems quite unnecessary and wasteful. Then you walk along the beach path, which is lined with yellow crime scene tape on both sides, okay? So now you're wondering, what's happened here? You continue on to the beach, then you're met with an off-duty county sheriff's department employee in full uniform who explains that you can only walk on the wet sand, but you can't put your beach chair there. I have friends that were actually threatened with a trespassing citation. Is this how we welcome visitors to Perdido Key's beaches? Orange Beach is just a few miles away, and they welcome everyone. If this continues, we will lose all our tourists from Perdido Key to Orange Beach. I am just one of 134 owners. There's actually 134 units, but I own one of them at the Grand Caribbean. And we all, every single one of us, bought those units for the beach.
Francis, please wrap up your
Okay.
thoughts. I still got like 6 speakers.
All right,
and-
we absolutely need the 75-foot public access easement code, which recognizes recreational customer use without going through without the processes of law.
Thank
Governor
you, ma'am.
DeSantis reached
Ma'am, I
this-
have to move on. I got to be
Okay.
fair with everyone.
Please
Kimberly Combs, if you could
Make
please
this
come up.
happen for us.
I know, I heard you. I'm sorry, I got to be fair with everyone, though. Kimberly Combs, if you'd please come up.
Good
And
morning.
John Ward's on deck.
Good morning, and thank you for allowing us this opportunity and time. I am Kimberly Combs. I have been vacationing on Perdido Key for at least 30 years. A couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I purchased a condo at Grand Caribbean West. It's located there at the Johnson Beach Roundabout and the Public Beach Access #1. Lovely, beautiful spot, but absolutely it looks horrible in the summer because the beach access is, like Fran said, roped off with yellow crime scene tape, and you have people, tourists, the public, whomever, probably people that live in Escambia County, all over the county, that come to the beach there, and they're crammed in between that little narrow passageway with that yellow crime scene tape. It looks horrible. It's embarrassing to our county for that beach access to look that way. Meanwhile, you have tons of beautiful white sand that nobody's sitting on because everybody is crammed down at the water line. Now, it's my understanding that the condominiums have contracted with the beach setup people, and the beach setup people, they go out there and they plop their stuff down all along the water line, leaving absolutely no space for the public of Escambia County to enjoy these beautiful beaches. That is ridiculous. Something needs to be done in terms of allowing everybody in the community in Escambia County to enjoy our beaches, right? So, sorry, that's just my opinion. Thank you for your time and your attention.
Thank you, Kim. There's a mediation hearing this next week on this, right? Yes, I thought. Okay, I just want to make sure they know that. John Ward, if you would please come up.
The mediation is next week.
I think it's the 20th, right? It's, I just,
Court-ordered mediation and the litigation is scheduled for 2 days. It's next Monday and Tuesday.
okay, thank you.
No, the public is not invited.
Yeah, I didn't set that up. I just wanted you to know there's mediation.
I'm invited, though. I'll be there.
Yeah. Right. All right, John, you're up next.
Hi, I am the listing broker for the property located at 2218 East Olive Road of John Ward Real Estate. I'm representing Heritage Professional Academy. It is to our understanding that there is a lien on the property in excess of $100,000. We are actively trying to sell it, and we do have an active buyer, but we need a way to see about getting the lien possibly knocked down. That way, this can be off everyone's record once and for all. It's to my understanding that this has been on file since about 2017. Any help that we can have on getting this finally settled once and for all would be greatly appreciated. And that's all I'm here for.
John, this would have to go to written communication. Tim, do you know anything about this? Okay. Maybe you can talk to Mr. Day in the back, and we'll see where we can, if we can help you, okay?
Okay,
Do you have
thank you,
anything
sir.
else to say, Commissioner? Okay. Odette Ramirez. Odette, are you here? Okay, come on up, ma'am. And
Good morning.
good morning.
A little short.
That's okay.
We bought a property last year on 5454 Pensacola Boulevard. It's been there since 1994. FPL owns all the easements. I have contact FPL because the owner, not FPL, but the owner beside us leases it, and they lease it to, FPL leases it to them. But here lately, they've been bringing their big trucks, destroying, making holes. I covered those holes. They've been harassing me. I've went to the police department to say, hey, this has to stop. I put some ballers because the county allowed me to put a gate. So he comes and kicks the ballers. I'm trying to get a hold of FPL because I have videos of him harassing me. He's coming in my property and literally just going fast, kicking. It's been a continue. I have been trying to get hold of FPL, and they have completely ignored me. And I'm like, this is a matter that I don't want to get killed before something happens. It's taking my peace. It is a part of an easement that connects my property, but this guy that is the tenant is claiming that it's his and that he wants his piece. I have pictures. I don't know if you guys want to see it. I have videos. I have a lot of evidence, and it's been going on and on and on. I have continued to cover those holes. We have a lot of pictures, like I said, and it's just this guy, FPL, does not respond to me, and I'm like, why? People have been crossing 29, our parking lot, to go to Pensacola Christian. They've had a lot of...
Ms. Ramirez?
Yes, sir.
I hear what you're saying. Your time's up. I think
Yes,
Tim
sir.
Day may be able to help you, the guy that just went out with the...
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
So-
I'm sorry, Commissioner May.
So, Ms. Ramirez, I'll be happy to try to get you in touch with FPL. And I think you spoke to someone in my office. And
Yes,
as
sir.
we discussed, it's a private easement, and we really have no jurisdiction over that, and nor do we have any jurisdiction over FPL property. But I am going to try to set a meeting with one of the executives for you at FPL.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank
Do
you.
I need to wait, or...
Can nod-
Yeah, just get with Horace right there, and he can help you out.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner May. Is Dave Bear here? Dave, oh, come on up, David, you're next. I didn't see you. How are you today?
Good morning, David Bear, 6120 Enterprise Drive, Pensacola. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you this morning. I'll be brief. Obviously, I only have a couple minutes. But I wanted to talk about Foiling Week. This is an event that came to Escambia County last year, funded through tourist development tax, recommended by the Tourist Development Council to you all for $315,000 last year. It was a successful event. They brought international travelers here, and it is really the work of the county and the investment it made. This is as a result of the investment it made into the American Magic. The county invested $1.5 million into American Magic, had the City of Pensacola's logo on the sail that was seen around the world. The international traveler is the gold standard for travel tourists, and we were able to bring those people here to Pensacola. We put the City of Pensacola, Escambia County on the map because of that investment. That event that we did last year here in Pensacola and Pensacola Beach was a huge success, including opportunities for economic development. There are manufacturers of these foiling boats that are advanced manufacturing, aerospace industry that we are trying to attract here through our economic development efforts as well. These folks stay longer per visit. They spend more money per visitor. And this is something that I believe we need to invest in. I'm standing here before you today as just a citizen. I am obviously the chairman of the Tourist Development Council. The TDC discussed this at our last meeting and voted against it as a whole. But I am in support of this, and I'm requesting that you consider funding this event. And if you want to have a larger conversation, I'm happy to answer questions.
Well, I'll just put this out. I brought it up yesterday in my weekly because Bobby Switzer and Lucas had come to my office about a month ago, and I don't know what happened on the TDC board, but I would like to maybe have it as a discussion item next meeting, and hopefully we can get someone from Foiling Week to come and present.
I've spoken with them. They're not in town today, but they can be here at the next meeting.
Yeah, they won't be here till November, so November 6th. So if you can
Are
wait.
you working with them?
Yeah, and I'm going to talk with them after this meeting today, too.
Okay.
And that works best for them. They'd like to come here and have a reattack on that, on TDT dollars. And I think they'll have a compelling argument, too.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have an interest on the economic development side, which you and Chris have said that there's something potentially out there, which I've said, like, I don't know how much he can disclose, but that obviously would be useful for the community if we could bring in business.
Absolutely.
So-
And one of the concerns about, if I may, just one more second. Last year, we waited till the last minute to help fund their program. We kicked it a couple of times, and we finally funded it. It gives them a very short window to begin their planning and marketing to try to attract tourists here. We're up against that again this year. Obviously, better late than never to support this event, but I would also request that you consider multi-year funding, obviously not today, but consider it so that they can have plenty of time to plan to let all of these international teams that want to travel here to have the opportunity to plan, because they have to,
Sure.
bring
I
all their
appreciate
equipment.
the comment, David, and I've been reached out by a few people, so hopefully the board will have a further discussion. I'll be interested to hear what Commissioner Hopper has on that as well.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Kimmy Baker, are you here? Okay, no Kim. Kimmy Baker.
phone, so.
What's that? Oh, you're good. Michael Vazana, did they ever show up? Okay. I need to know where we are on this. Casey, can we show the video?
I'm not sure of the status of the speaker. What my advice would be, yes, if he re-enters the chamber during the meeting, I would suggest you give him the 2 minutes then.
Oh, I absolutely will.
If he does not, then you can certainly take him up at a subsequent board meeting.
Albert Jackson, if you can hear this outside, please come in. I want to give you your time. Can he play the video? That's what I need to.
I would say the speaker's unavailable. I would hold off until.
No, I know that, but is it, I get that.
I don't know the answer.
Okay. All right, Mr. Jackson, I apologize for that, but if you come back in, we'll give you 2 minutes. Board, this concludes public forum. Let's reconvene with our regular board meeting at 9:15. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the regular County Commissioner Board meeting, October 16, 2025. The Board of County Commissioners allows any person to speak regarding the item on the agenda. The speaker is limited to 3 minutes, which we will honor, unless otherwise determined by the chairperson to allow sufficient time for all speakers. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protests, or other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Upon completion of the public comment period, discussion is limited to the board members and questions raised by the board. Commissioner Hopperger, do you have the invocation?
I do. If Pastor Rob from Echo Life Church will come up and lead us in invocation. Thank you so much, Pastor Rob, for being here. We appreciate you.
Please rise.
Heavenly Father, we present to you the business of this board. We thank you for the work that you have done and are doing. We thank you for the gift of civic discourse and the breadth of opinions across this great county. I ask that you would continue to empower and provide wisdom for these esteemed colleagues, these commissioners, this board, that they would proceed with the business of this county, Father, as you have set before them. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Commissioner Strober, do you want to do the pledge?
Yeah, please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
Hey, Commissioner Bear, are there any items to add to the agenda?
No, sir.
Commissioner May?
No, sir.
Commissioner Stroberger?
Let me check. No.
Okay, Commissioner Hopperger? No, sir. All right, thank you all. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
Please vote. Adoption of the agenda passes 5-0. We're at Commissioner Forum. Commissioner Berry?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To send thoughts and prayers out to the family of Bill Johnson, his wife Sandra, and his daughter Jennifer. Has been so it's Jennifer Ponson, and many of us at the county and other leadership positions worked with her for years when she was at Pensacola State College. She was the coordinator for the Skills USA program that was put on at the Bay Center for a number of years, helping young people with employment. We hosted the state competition for Skills USA for several years out at the Bay Center. I also want to congratulate lifelong friend Shelly Helton. She's a kindergarten teacher at Jim Allen Elementary. She was chosen as their Teacher of the Year earlier this week. So we're leading into the Teacher of the Year announcements and the Golden Apple Awards and those things as we get into the winter season. So certainly wanted to congratulate Shelly Helton. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Berry. Commissioner May?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was a busy week, unfortunately, with funerals. Certainly want to send our condolences and prayers to my dear friend Horace Cotter, who served 35-plus years in the United States Army, at the loss of his mother, Miss Mary Cotter, and we appreciate being able to be a part of the St. John family on Saturday at that homegoing, and as well as Miss Hazel Venice. Our prayers are with her family as her funeral was last Saturday, and also at the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church. We attended the funeral of Miss Barbara Jean Williams, who was a good friend and a great supporter of the Bellheads area and the Catholic high school, and so our prayers are with them. And we know tomorrow, Pastor Ray White, who's a pastor in your district, Commissioner Berry, Pastor Ray White will be laid to rest, and our prayers and condolences with him, a longtime employee of the Joe Morris Funeral Home, outstanding pastor and minister in this community. Our prayers are with them. And finally, congratulations to UWF on their homecoming and staying with a winning season. And it's great to be a UWF Argo supporter of football. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner May. Commissioner Strober?
Yeah, Monday was the U.S. Navy's birthday, so happy birthday, Navy.
Go Navy.
Sheriff's Engagements Awards was last weekend. It was my first one, and I enjoyed that. I took my granddaughters to that. It's a great time. Other commissioners were there, too. Thank you to Sheriff Simmons for the invitation. In Santa Rosa, Sergeant Major Robert Patterson was recognized by the Santa Rosa County Board of County Commissioners last week with a proclamation for his service during the Vietnam War. Sergeant Major Patterson was the recipient of the Medal of Honor in that conflict. I encourage everyone to watch the recording of Santa Rosa's Board of County Commissioners meeting last Friday. That was October 10th. It's a great watch and a well-deserved honor. Bravo Zulu to Santa Rosa County Board of County Commissioners. What else? I kind of want to have a shout out for President Trump for the meeting in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. If that was historic, and if you haven't been paying attention, that's just amazing what he's been doing. Dan Hoffman, a former CIA station chief in Moscow, said, "Who cares about the Nobel Peace Prize? The Nobel Committee is not a constituent. Trump serves the American people. If he's doing right by our national security, that's all that matters." And I agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Strohberger, and I agree with you on President Trump. Commissioner Hofferger?
Good morning, and thank you so much for being here. It has been such an exciting week. Today, we're moving forward with the next steps of building the new fire stations. I've said it almost every meeting, and I'm going to say it again. I am so grateful and thrilled that we are prioritizing public safety. Yesterday, we celebrated the groundbreaking ceremony for the new airport terminal that will help support a local economy here in Escambia County. On Wednesday, I had the privilege to celebrate the opening of the Margie and Alan Moore Champions Club at Pensacola State College. I feel like Pensacola State College is a overlooked gem in our community. 92% of the students graduate debt-free because of the hard work of their foundation, along with the generous community here in Escambia County. So thank you so much to PSC. It is always my goal to help provide as much information to the public as we can and make it easy for you guys to find that. I want to thank Wes and our IT department for working on putting in a plug on myescambia.com that will have the water quality reports for local swimming areas. So if it is a place that is commonly swimmed, now you can log on to myescambia.com and you'll be able to actually see the water quality reports there. I also want to take time to recognize two folks who have went above and beyond. Brent Whiff, you have been working diligently to make sure our waterways are clean and that we're doing everything that we can to prevent future contamination, and I want to thank you so much for that. It's been a large undertaking, and you are a rock star. Mr. Jolly, who works at the dump, I can honestly say I've never seen a more engaged employee. We cleaned out our house over the weekend and had literally a truckload of junk to take, and Mr. Jolly was out there, and his name is so fitting. He was just the jolliest person I've ever met, literally cheering on customers at the dump with a smile in the heat, and I know that I appreciated that, so thank you so much. We could definitely use more folks like you. With that, I'm looking forward to a very collaborative meeting today, and I want to thank everyone for being here.
Thank you, Commissioner Hofferger. Just a couple things on last Friday. Several of us were at the Sheriff Foundation event, which was very nice. I thought there were several people that were honored there, and that was a nice event for the Sheriff's Department. But the only reason I wanted to say it, the Sheriff thanked the board multiple times there for us working with him. And Wes, I know you weren't there, but I think they're very grateful for what this board has done to help support public safety in our community. The other day, well, a few of us were there, but this is something really special. And if you're not in healthcare, you wouldn't probably know the extent of this, but hospitals are graded by their trauma centers basically 1 to 4. And years ago, we had all 3 of them were basically level 2 hospitals, which was pretty amazing for Escambia County. But Ascension Sacred Heart the other day is now a level 1 trauma center, which is the highest level trauma center you can have in an area. And that is a really big deal. There's only 11 in the state. The closest second one is Gainesville. Obviously, we want all of our hospitals to do very well, but a shout out to Ascension Sacred Heart. That is a phenomenal achievement, and it's a big deal for our community. Yes, Steve, I had U.S. Navy on my hit list, 250 years. Oh, yes, I did, trust me. And I just wanted to say thank you. Steve mentioned the Nobel Peace Prize, but I want to mention the lady that got it, Miss Machado. If you watch this, and obviously I have a personal interest, like a lot of us do, for peace and want peace around the world. I thought the way she carried herself and her dignity was something very special, how she gave credit to our president and the leaders of South America, and I just think that was very classy, the way she handled herself. The fairs, this starts today, so if you're bored and you want to go out to the fair, it starts at 4 o'clock, so go ride some rides. And I think you probably know it's Breast Cancer Month. And my wife is a survivor of cancer from 2021. And so shout out to her, and she's doing good. And then lastly, probably the funnest thing is yesterday was National Pug Day. And I have 2 pugs, and I'm wearing my pug socks. So if you have a pug, they're very loving dogs. But happy to all the pugs out there that are getting lots of love. All right, let's push on.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. Yeah. No, that's an excellent, that was an excellent point, though. No, I forgot to mention the SEC soccer, we don't have a board meeting for a couple of weeks until after Halloween. And SEC soccer, this is our 4th year of hosting that, the women's championship at Ashton Brosnahan. It begins on Sunday, November 2nd, and we'll be together that week of November as the tournament's going on. But it actually begins on Sunday, November 2nd. The championship game will be the next Sunday, November 9th. We'll see each other kind of midweek as they're working their way down to the semifinals. But just wanted to give a shout out. Hopefully we'll have, we've been setting attendance records, Southeastern Conference attendance records for several years hosting it. Hopefully we'll have a lot of the public engaged, and I'm sure that our CMR can, kind of work to get some press releases out as we get a little bit closer to the start date.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I could, I had the opportunity
you and then the Commissioner, yes.
to spend some time out with Parks not too long ago, just the other week. And they are few in number, but mighty in effort and great in success. And they have been working hard with the SEC. Michael's been doing a phenomenal job, as folks have. It's a huge effort, a huge lift to be able to bring that to fruition and make it successful. And they do a great job out there. And I want to say I appreciate, of course, Jamie Higdon and all his bunch been cooking for the departments, hamburgers and hot dogs throughout the county. And a little bit goes a long ways, and so I appreciate them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Commissioner May?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And I forgot to mention when we were talking about sports, one of our own, Trent Henderson, who I've had the opportunity to coach since he was 4, is a standout defensive end, is already committed to LSU, but a pretty big deal. He was selected to play in the Navy All-American game. And he's only one of 11 kids out of all the state of Florida that's going to be able to go play in the Navy All-American team. And after this year at Pine Park, he won LSU. But what a great compliment to his mom and dad and his grandparents. So congratulations to Trent Henderson, who is a superb student and even a greater athlete, but he'll be playing in the Navy All-American game. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner May. All right, Board, we're at proclamations. Can I have a motion to adopt and ratify the proclamation?
Second.
Okay, please vote. Okay, motion passes 5-0. Our first proclamation, Commissioner Hoffberger, if you could go, it's Dwight Davis. Can you come up to the podium? Are you out there, Dwight? Or whoever, the whole team come on up, yep.
This is the fun part of the job, so thank you for making my day. Whereas the purpose of National Disability Employment Awareness Month is to educate the public about the employment concerns of persons with disability and to celebrate the many and varied contributions of America's workforce with disabilities. And whereas this year marks the 80th anniversary of National Disability Employment Month, as Congress in 1945 enacted a law declaring the first week in October each year National Employ the Physically Handicapped Week. And whereas later it is expanded to a full month, and its name and scope has evolved to acknowledge the importance of increasing the workforce community with people of all types of disabilities. And whereas workplaces welcoming the talents of all people, including people with disabilities, are a critical part of our efforts to build a community with a stronger economy. And whereas activities during this month will reinforce the values and talents people with disability adds to our workforce and our communities, and affirm Escambia County's commitment to increasing access to good jobs for all workers, including disability workers. And whereas Global Connections to Employment, GCE, is recognized for their exceptional example of hiring people with disabilities, and whereas preparing them to obtain and maintain employment. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Escambia County, Florida, hereby proclaims October 2025 as Disability Awareness Employment Month. Board of County Commissioners, Escambia County, Florida. Chair, Mike Kohler. Ashley Hoffberger, Vice Chair. Commissioner Stephen Stroberger, Commissioner Lumen May, and Commissioner Stephen Barry. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you. Do you want in this picture? Do you want in the? No. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited.
Thank you. Congratulations.
And you can say something if you want.
No, I want to thank the county commissioners for acknowledging National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Global Connections to Employment, if you're not aware, we employ close to 400 persons with disabilities in Escambia County alone. Across the state of Florida, it's close to 800 of our 1,100 total persons with significant disabilities are employed nationwide by Global Connections. We're proud to call Pensacola our home, and we're proud of what we do, and I'm very proud to lead this organization and serve them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for what GC does. I've seen their work hands-on on the base, and the email the other day for transit helped out with the county administrator. So very grateful for everything you guys do for the community.
And thank you for that, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Crystal Riviera, our acting director, can you come up and do Friends of the Library? And I think is Chris Hare coming up? Is that who you're, okay. Linda Williams? Okay, gotcha.
Got our team.
Whereas the Friends of West Florida Public Library recognizes that libraries are far more than just buildings filled with books. They are dynamic spaces where ideas grow, curiosity flourishes, and communities are both preserved and transformed. And whereas the Friends do more than support a library system, they invest in the imaginations of their neighbors, uphold the dignity of access to knowledge, and the quiet awakening of dormant dreams. And whereas their contributions are not only measured in hours volunteered or funds raised, but also in the lasting ripple effects of each life changed by a book discovered, a skill learned, or a peaceful space found within our libraries. And whereas Friends of Libraries Week, observed October the 19th through the 25th, offers not only a chance to honor these individuals, but to reflect on the profound, transformative power of the institutions they uplift. And whereas, let this week stand as a tribute to their quiet leadership, steadfast service, and unwavering belief that libraries are not just resources, they are the foundation and the anchorage of vibrant and resilient communities. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Escambia County, Florida, does hereby declare the week of October the 19th through the 25th, 2025 as Friends of the Libraries Week, and urges all citizens to honor their friends for their achievements and visit the West Florida Public Libraries and discover the magic of the library. Board of County Commissioners, Escambia County, Florida, Michael Kohler, Chair, District 2, Ashley Hoffberger, Vice Chair, District 4, Steve Stroberger, District 1, Newman May, District 3, and Stephen Barry, District 5.
Thank you.
I'd like to say a few words, if I might. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Linda Williams, current Vice President of the Friends of West Florida Public Library, and I manage our warehouse as well as running 4 3-day book sales a year for the last 12 years. I've served on our board for 14 years. Jack Beverly, who is a very spry 90-year-old gentleman, and his wife Pam run our Tryon bookstore and have been volunteering with us for over 22 years. Julia Furr oversees our book sale room at the Bellevue branch and does all our pricing for our collector's corner at our book sales. Weldon Hewley in the back is one of our warehouse volunteers and also works at all of our book sales. And Ann Edens, right here, volunteers twice a week at our Tryon bookstore and as well as working our book sales. So we have a very dedicated group, and this is just a small representation of them. On behalf of those here and our many friends of the library, members and volunteers, I would like to extend our sincere thanks for the proclamation and recognizing our group. We're honored and grateful for your support and acknowledgement of our ongoing efforts to promote literacy, enrich our community, and support our local libraries. Your recognition not only uplifts our volunteers and members, but it helps to highlight the importance of public libraries in our county. Thanks again for this meaningful gesture.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, thank you very much. Mrs. Plume, Janet Plume, are you out there? Yeah, come on up. Thank you. Oh, the whole team's here. All right. Wow, Davenport arriving. I love it.
Yes.
Well, this is a great day for us all. These ladies help out over in Bio, Davenport, and Warrington and do a lot of great things for our area, and I can't tell you how grateful I am. All right, here we go. Whereas since its founding nearly 50 years ago, Warrington Emergency Aid Center has operated with the core mission of providing support to food insecure neighbors in the Warrington community, so that today is a 100% volunteer organization supported by donations from congregations, neighbors, and local businesses. And whereas Warrington Emergency Aid Center is one of the oldest nonprofit food pantries in Escambia County and takes pride in its mission to ensure that no individual or family in Escambia County suffers from hunger during times of crisis, while offering a sense of hope and dignity to foster community support and care. And whereas Warrington Emergency Aid Center goes beyond providing food assistance by offering support through donors and volunteers to ensure families in our communities can fulfill basic necessities in time of need. And whereas beyond donations and volunteerism, Warrington Emergency Aid Center has developed numerous outreach programs that extend our support of the food insecure far beyond the doors of the food bank through socks and shoe drives for area elementary school children, support for food for elementary school children on weekends, support for local soup kitchens and programs to lift homeless men out of the addiction and into self-sufficiency, support for single mothers and grandmothers and their kids, support for the indigent in need of medical care. And whereas the Warrington Emergency Aid Center continues to seek out creative ways to raise funds and provide opportunity for the community they serve to come together through such things as goofy golf, extravaganza fundraisers, where attendees can play miniature golf, share food, and participate in raffles. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Escambia County, Florida commends Warrington Emergency Aid Center for their invaluable service and support it provides to those critical needs. And it expressed gratitude for the tireless work of volunteers and donors to help some of the most vulnerable members of our community. Board of County Commissioners, Escambia County, Florida, Mike Kohler, Chair, District 2, Ashley Hoffberger, Vice Chair, District 4, Steve Stroberger, District 1, Lumen May, District 3, Steve Berry, District 5. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you, Mike.
Liz, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You going to say anything? Here, I'll shake all your hands. I recognize most of you. You deserve it.
Oh.
All right, you want to get a photo real quick?
That would be great.
All right. Well, y'all make me look good.
All the girls.
Yeah. Fella.
Thank you.
Want to see? Kevin, do you want to take a photo or something? Oh.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I thought.
I already got one.
You did it?
I've already posted it.
Oh, good.
There we go, this way we can get us all together.
Okay. All right.
One more time.
Thank you.
Anyone want to make a comment?
I will. Go ahead.
Okay.
Jen. Here you go. Mike, and to all the county commissioners, we really appreciate this. This year, we will probably distribute food to more than 800 families in the Warrenton area, and our distribution rate is currently up 70% over what it was last year. So this is a big help for us. Thank you for this recognition.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Good to see you. All right. Is there people here for the mental health? Come on up. Another great thing. We'll get everyone here for the mental health day. Yeah, thank you. All right. Ricky,
There's a bunch
couple
of us.
people. Yeah, this is great. This guy here, he's a troublemaker.
He is.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, thank you all. All right, whereas mental health is an essential component of overall well-being, affecting how individuals think, feel, act, and relate to others in their daily lives. And whereas World Mental Health Day observes annually on October 10th, it is an opportunity to raise awareness of mental health issues around the world and to mobilize efforts in support of mental health. And whereas this day serves as a reminder that mental health care must be accessible, equitable, and free of stigma, ensuring that individuals and communities can thrive regardless of background, age, or circumstances. And whereas our community is committed to creating a more compassionate and supportive society where mental health well-being is prioritized and protected for everyone. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Escambia County, Florida, hereby declares October 10th, 2025 as World Mental Health Day in Escambia County, Florida, and recognizes the vital contributions of mental health professionals, caregivers, and community organizations and advocates for working to improve mental health outcomes and support recovery. Board of County Commissioners, Escambia County, Florida, Mike Kohler, Chair, District 2, Ashley Hoffberger, Vice Chair, District 4, Steve Stroberger, District 1, Lumen May, District 3, Steve Berry, District 5. Thank you. Thank you very much. Does anyone want to say, are you going to speak? Okay. Andy, we'll get a photo. How you been? Fantastic.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Trishonda Eli, and I serve as the Employee Relations Manager. However, I am not here in that capacity today, so don't worry, your jobs are not in jeopardy. I am here to fulfill a different role. I am honored today to introduce the Escambia County Mental Health Ambassadors team. Our mission is simple but powerful. Our team mission is to promote mental health awareness, provide resources, and foster a supportive culture where employees feel valued, understood, and empowered to seek help when needed. This team is made up of 12 employees from different backgrounds, military veterans, individuals from different departments who hold different positions across all levels of the counties. This diversity is intentional because it allows us to connect with employees in meaningful ways. The reality is the days of simply coming to work, doing a job, and leaving personal challenges at the door are behind us. Our employees, like many people, are carrying stress and difficulties from their private lives, and those struggles are inadvertently spilled into the workplace. As an employer, we have a responsibility to recognize this reality and ensure that resources are readily available when employees need them. By addressing mental health openly and proactively, we are not just helping individuals, we are strengthening our entire workforce. Since forming, our team has already visited several departments and received wonderful feedback. We have had several employees who have reached out for help. Employees are grateful to know this support exists. Our recent meet and greet event was also a success, opening doors for the county to build stronger relationships with the mental health community. Some of these community partners were the Fleet and Family Support Center at NAS, Vet Center Counseling Service, American Red Cross, Lakeview Centers, Favor House, and many more. These partnerships ensure that our employees have real accessible help when it matters. As we approach the holiday season, a time when stress and personal struggles often intensify, we want to stress how important it is to continue to invest in mental health resources. We ask not only for your continued support of this initiative, but also for your partnership in future events and efforts. Your presence, encouragement, and endorsement go a long way in showing employees the leadership values their well-being. Together, we can build a healthier, more resilient county workforce to serve the citizens of Escambia County. Thank you, and we appreciate this proclamation. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who is on the team. They have been working since February, and we continue to strive and work on this initiative.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Board, and thanks for everyone for those proclamations. It was a nice day. All right, did the clerk's office receive proof of the publication and public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, the clerk's office has received all proofs.
Move to waive the reading.
Please vote. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Board. We now are at public hearing 902. Public hearing to consider adoption of ordinance repeal and replacing Chapter 46, Article 2, Division 1-3 of Escambia County Code of Ordinances.
Mr. Chairman, I would request one change. The threshold for formal solicitation and approval, that it remain at $50,000. Beyond that, I would say this is a very much-needed repeal and replace of the ordinance. I want to thank Lindsay Stevens and Christian Huell in the County Attorney's Office for hours of hard work, as well as some of the input from some of the directors throughout Escambia County. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Commissioner Berry?
I was going to move the item if there were no speakers, Mr. Chairman, with that deletion of the threshold change. So I moved the item with that deletion that the administrator mentioned.
Okay. Is there a second, Board? Second. Okay. There's a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes 5-0. We are now at the clerk and comptroller's report. How you doing, Pam? Haven't seen you. Welcome back.
Yeah, 35th wedding anniversary, out of the town, birthday, kids flying in. It's been busy. It's been good. And federal court, that wasn't good. Anyway.
Not going on.
Yeah, 2 routine items on the agenda for you. It's just minutes and documents. Thank you.
Move the clerk's report.
Okay. Is there a second? Please vote. Motion passes 5-0. All right. We are at the county administrator report. Wes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's 7 items on the technical public service consent agenda. There is one change on CAR 3. That would be to omit item E. Other than that, there are no other changes. And we have one hold for one speaker, CAR 1-7.
Okay. And there's a second?
With that, I second it with that amendment of deleting item E.
Okay. Thank you. A motion and second. Please vote. Okay. We have one speaker on CAR 1-7. Chris Kerb, that's you. Please come up.
Chris Kerr, Flood Defenders, Panhandle. Local mitigation strategy plan. I noticed in the backup on your website it does not include a copy of the local mitigation strategy plan. It just includes the resolution. So have you read it? I can't find it on your website. Has your attorney read it? Anyway, it says in your resolution, natural and man-made hazards such as tropical storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods. You've got 100 million plus in grants in the last few years. 49 buyouts you've got approved from Hurricane Sally. Oh, back in April 2014, you only had, I think, 17 of them in Bristol Park, one in Pin Oak. That's done through your LMS program. So they're increasing. So what are your root causes? I don't think your LMS plan addresses that. You know, I hear all the time, sins of the past. We didn't have stormwater regulations until the 1980s, late 70s. So that's yesterday's problems that we're trying to fix now. Well, that's not really true. We didn't change our stormwater regulations until April 2014 storm event forced us to. From a 25-year design storm to a 100-year design storm. Sins of the past. Using a 25-year design storm was a sin of the past. In 2022, DOT had to come up with a resilience action plan because our Florida legislation required it under Florida statutes 339.157. And out of that, in 2024, they adopted NOAA rainfall data, precipitation data, the national standards for stormwater design, and sea level rise from NOAA, National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. And in 2024-2.75, your environmental resource permit rules will go into effect for stormwater. Point being is, tomorrow we're going to be saying the sins of the past because we're using archived, outdated, obsolete rainfall data for stormwater design in Escambia County. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. There's no further speakers, board. Can I have a motion on 1-7?
Move the item.
Is there a second? Okay, please vote. There's a motion in second. Commissioner May? Okay, motion passes 5-0. Wes, we're at Budget and Finance.
Mr. Chairman, there are 48 items on the Budget Finance Consent Agenda. There are no changes. Please hold for speakers CAR 2-8, CAR 2-29, CAR 2-42, and CAR 2-44.
Okay, you have a motion to move the balance. Is there a second? Okay, there's a motion second. Please vote. Motion passes 5-0. We're at 2-8, and Mel, you're up first.
Thank you, Chairman Kohler. Mosquito 413 Southeast Bobbitt's, please let me stretch from water quality to pelicans to just give John Robinson a shout out. They tie together. Thankfully, he and Keith Wilkins, who is now the new head of the the wildlife sanctuary, sprung to action. We had a pelican with a horribly embedded hook, and its entire wing was embedded in line, and they went and rescued it this morning. So thank you. I support this testing, as anyone should support any testing, but I do want to voice just a little bit of frustration. I have supported the estuary in many things in the past, and Mr. Posner, but I think I'm not the only one that's growing increasingly frustrated with a lot of piecemealing that has to do with the millions and millions of dollars of grants that are sitting. And I know things roll in slowly, and I understand that things get broken into buckets, and I know that there's a big item with some housekeeping to cash flow some of these grants. I think it's like 50 million plus that between the county and the estuary. And Kevin and I were at that BARC meeting, the last one, where Grover had done some last minute changes to the contract, and it evolved into the estuary at that time. God, what has that been? I don't know, 7 years ago or so, 6 years ago. And we tried to put the word around that this was going to result in some difficult housekeeping for the county and the estuary. And Bob Cole was just too eager to grab at that red herring about what they were going to name the estuary program. And the scientists all sat deaf and mute because, understandably, they're really bad at politics and didn't want to get into it. The result is that I am not criticizing the county because this looks like bookkeeping. I'm not sure. We need to start doing something real with the estuary. And Commissioner Hofberger, supremely important to get stuff locked down with the creeks in your district. But that's all that's getting any attention. And this grant is basically nothing. This pittance of money for this huge water quality thing, it begs the question of almost foregone conclusions, because you can't get this type of program done with this sort of money. And it also seems to once again prioritize so much the creek system and that bay that it's boxing out other water bodies. I can't understand why these grants are not being put together for a total plan. We keep getting a lot of PR, we get these piecemeal grants, these tiny micro grants, and that's great for these organizations, but while they're doing this, they should be doing some Vibrio testing. This type, because fecal stuff increases the virulence of Vibrio, and nobody wants to talk about that. So I hope they start putting their arms around things for a whole testing solution.
Well, thank you for your comments. Kevin, you're up next.
Kevin Wade, 413 Southeast Boblets. I should have brought photos. Yesterday, Doug and I walked past a pelican that had been wounded, fish hooks. Gave me an opportunity to teach Doug that danger friend, absolutely danger friend. Got a lot of that going on. Immediately after finding the pelican, we spent our time, Dog was fishing, or she thinks it's fishing, while we were watching the Blue Angels. There were a couple hundred people in Navy Point watching the Blue Angels. And out of that, there was myself, one of my neighbors, and 2 tourists that actually stepped foot in the water. And I asked people, like, come on, you're dressed for the beach. Why are you dry? Because if you're standing underneath the trees, you're getting a portion of the show. Come on out here into the water. And they were afraid of the water. Now, these are people that were dressed to go ahead and get wet. And I just really, really want to see that projects like this end up impacting all of our bays and estuaries to the point that people know that the water is safe, that Escambia County is safe, that, you know, come and enjoy, watch the Blue Angels, head to the beach, check out our museums, all the rest of that. But those bar tag meetings and the park meetings, those were some horrible, horrible, slow meetings. And I really, really hoped that there was inertia that was happening so that what was going on in those meetings and the impact of what the people were doing there rolled up and made big, significant changes in this area. And, you know, seeing how many municipalities and areas that were investing time and money into this, you know, this is a drop in the bucket, but go for it. Keep dropping into that bucket over and over and over again. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. All right, board, there's no further speakers on.
Move the item.
All right, is there a second? All right, please vote. Okay, motion passes 5-0. We are at car 229. Mel, you're the only speaker if you would like to come up.
Don't blame me, Chairman Kohler. There's lots of good stuff on for District 2. And so we'll be just waving in support for the WEAC, and we were so glad to see that getting done. Really psyched. Well, first, let me give a shout out to Michael Rhodes for the totality of this. It's always great when we see our parks getting taken care of and seeing the momentum go towards parks, because when Kevin and I started on this odyssey, one of the first things we had to do was save Corey Park, because Doug was going to cancel it and start moving through pocket parks in District 2. So anytime there's good stuff going on with parks, but moreover, I was thrilled to see that there's the stuff going on with the Marie Ella Davis. And Chairman Kohler, we get that you are biting at an elephant. The blight and the strange practices and things, the first thing that, believe it or not, we were helping in the background was with the Lexington, getting that, going. As a community center, please work with Navarro to start getting that thing optimized for actual community events. People are still asking, where can I have this? Where can we do that? And then maybe up next we can get going on the Juanita Williams and have like really a full return for real into community centers. But thank you. I will scrub speaking on the Navy Boulevard thing and just wave in support and tell you it's like a miracle watching things come together on the west side these days. It really is. These are things that have been at a standstill for decades, and it's crazy to watch things actually being put on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel. That means a lot. Board, there's no further speaker. Is there a second? Okay, please vote. Motion passes 5-0. We're at car 242. Is that the, let me scroll up here. Oh, funding allocate. Who's our speaker on that? Yeah, Mel, you're up on 242. It's on the funding for the Warrington Emergency Aid Center. Did you want to speak on that?
That's a wave in support. I had signed on for the paratransit.
Yeah, that's coming up. Okay. Kevin, you're up next. Are you waving in support? Okay, so, okay, there's a motion. A second, please vote. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, folks. Were you trying to make me feel good today, Commissioner May? All right, we're at 244. This has got to do with Thaddeus.
But I skipped the public forum and the commissioners forum, so I don't
You're
have
up
to
on
listen
this
to
one.
the Trump stuff. So we'll just,
Hey, you love the
come
peace,
on the
Mel.
stuff
Come on,
that we're
man.
going to
Peace is
agree
good.
on. Melissa Pino, 413 Southeast Boblets, and I'm wincing because I hate it when there's all this stuff on the agenda. I really don't want to be up this much, so I will make this quick. I couldn't possibly understand what is going on with this agenda item, but I'm going to take it as a positive. In past times, I would have spent days unraveling all of this to try to determine how all of these parts fit together, but it looks like progress. And I just want to reiterate on a general level, maybe I was too hard on Escambia County ECAT in particular. They got issues, that's for sure, but really for any municipality or county to branch out and handle such an expertise as paratransit would be really, really difficult. I'm sure it's still in the books to have the county handle some of this, even though it's been demonstrated they can't do flex all that well, let alone paratransit. But we are getting government funding cut, vital services. Things are going to be headed into a pretty bad financial tailspin for a lot of people soon. Maybe if there's something we could splurge on in Escambia County, it's giving our people with mobility and other disability issues a break and maintaining this excellent resource. I know people are like, oh, it costs too much. It seems comparable with other really well-run services all across the country. So why can't we do this thing really well? And I just wanted to respond to the thing that you said previously, Chairman Kohler, which is, well, we need to make sure the people with the most disabilities are the ones. I want to target those. I understand you're coming from a military background where there's disability ratings. So I get that that's, what's informing that idea. On a federal level, you're disabled or you're not. you can't go picking and choosing which disabilities, that gets into some really scary territory pretty quick. Stephen Miller's trying to drag us there hard enough. So let's just say if somebody is officially disabled, they're going to continue to get Cadillac services in Escambia County because we take care of people who need extra support to help them be meaningful and contributing members to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Milt. Wes, I think we probably should have just a bit of discussion on this because last time we were concerned about the pay, and that was rectified, correct?
Yes, we are making progress in this regard. We've accomplished some major milestones. The board directed me to negotiate with ITL. We're continuing to do that. We met earlier this week. This is a piece of that negotiation that has been ongoing for the past couple of weeks. I see some of the representatives here today. We have another meeting to continue to push forward and bring something to fruition that can be beneficial for both Escambia County and the citizens of Escambia County.
And I think I shared with you, I reached out to the base CO on this contract, and they use, and Harold, I see you there, but for most of the people that work on the base, they can use Flex Transit because they work in the galley or do some house cleaning out there, so they're up. So GCE uses Flex Transit is what I'm being told by their leadership in the base. But yeah, I'm glad to see that we're moving forward because I do think there's a role for this service. And I'll be interested to see what the amended contract comes back because I think we discussed that. But you feel like we're moving forward on that? Okay. Any other questions, board? All right, then I have a motion and a second. Okay, please vote. Motion passes 5-0. All right, we're up to
Car 3, South Navy Boulevard.
Yeah. This is you guys. So, board, HCR did a design, and they came in and briefed the county administrator, and they wanted to give us a short brief on it, and I was feel okay because it affects all of us, not just the people. 21,000 cars a day go in the base, and they live all over the county and in Santa Rosa. So, if you could give us your feedback. I know the board hasn't heard it, but we'd love to hear you. Mary?
Yeah, so good morning. Thank you for this time. We're going to give you a brief summary of this project that we worked on for the South Navy Boulevard Improvement Plan. So we'll first go through a quick background to explain where we got to where we are today. So the purpose of this study is to create a plan that improves mobility and safety for all modes of transportation, incorporates landscaping and lighting along the 1-mile stretch of State Road 295 from Barrancas Avenue southward to the deck of the Sam A. Lovelace Bridge.
Mary, will you pull the mic down so everyone can hear you? Thank you.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, better now. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
great. All right. So this study is locally funded by Escambia County in partnership with the Florida-Alabama Transportation Planning Organization, the Emerald Coast Regional Council, and the Naval Air Station Pensacola. A project advisory team was formed at the beginning of the project and consisted of key stakeholders from Escambia County, NAS Pensacola, FDOT, and ECRC. And we held meetings with this group throughout the project to make sure we understood the issues and the goals of the project. And we also were able to review the conceptual improvements and alternatives with this group. We did hold 2 public workshops as a part of this project, and we got great feedback and support from the community. Both workshops were held at the Lexington Terrace Community Center. The first public workshop was held May 14th of this year, and we held this meeting to get the public's feedback on 2 different alternatives for this corridor. We had great turnout with 118 people in attendance, and we received 98 comment forms. And we also ran an online survey that received tremendous feedback with 657 responses. We held a second public workshop on August 28th, and 59 people attended and provided 40 comment forms. And again, we had great feedback online with 125 responses received.
Mary, I just want to highlight that because
Yes.
you don't normally get those kind of responses, and it was overwhelmingly positive, is what you shared
Yes.
with me, right? I think that's very important to know how important this project is for the community. Yeah, I think you shared with me, you normally get like maybe 50 comments.
Correct, yes. And the feedback was generally very positive and supportive of this project. So, and we got a lot of great input. And we used that great input from the public and the project advisory team to develop a preferred alternative, which we will briefly go through. All right, so this slide shows you the typical sections of the preferred alternative. It's a 4-lane section with 10-foot travel lanes and a 10-foot shared use path. And this alternative reduces the northbound travel lanes from 3 to 2 to repurpose that available right-of-way for other features along the corridor. So the top typical section shows you the typical section at the raised median areas along the corridor, and the bottom shows you the typical section at areas with a 2-way left turn lane, which was requested by the public. So starting at the south end of the corridor, right where the bridge starts to go to the main gate of the Navy base, this shows that we have a 4-lane section with 10-foot travel lanes, a 10-foot shared use path, variable message signs that are placed at strategic locations along the corridor to inform the traveling public of the NAS Pensacola main gate status and wayfinding for correct gate entry, which was very important to NAS Pensacola, who stated they have about 1,000 vehicles a day they have to turn around at their gates. So this is to help with that. And similarly, a central median vehicle turnaround area is located at here, so vehicles have the opportunity to turn around if they realize they're entering at the wrong gate. And this also provides an area for a gateway feature opportunity. There's a proposed waterfront park on the west side of the corridor with limited on-street parking. The corridor has mid-block crosswalks throughout with pedestrian refuge islands, provide safe crossing opportunities for pedestrians and bicyclists. Access management with a landscape median to enhance beautification and safety, decorative lighting throughout the corridor, and also landscape opportunities within the raised median, the large central median vehicle turnaround area, and the sides of the road for beautification and ecological benefits. Moving to the north, this shows you a section with the public's preferred 2-way left turn lane. Texture pavement is proposed within the 2-way left turn lane and intersections. This is to provide for traffic calming as well as beautification. And again, mid-block crosswalks, decorative lighting, landscape opportunities, and a 10-foot shared use path. Moving to the north, this shows you the intersection with Sunset Boulevard. This also has relaxed access management with a 2-way left turn lane and textured pavement. Textured pavement's also proposed at the intersections, mid-block crosswalks with the pedestrian refuge islands, decorative lighting, landscape opportunities, and the 10-foot shared use path. And at the north end of the corridor, again, we have the 4-lane section with 10-foot travel lanes, 10-foot shared use path, landscaping opportunities, mid-block crosswalks, textured pavement, an opportunity for a gateway feature at this end of the corridor, and variable message signs leading to this corridor. We did prepare a planning level cost estimate for the project. As you can see, the construction cost is estimated at $8.8 million, which includes, and the total cost is estimated at about $11.7 million, which includes design and construction engineering inspection. Undergrounding of the overhead utilities was assumed and included in these cost estimates, and no right-of-way acquisition is anticipated. To assist with securing federal funding, several organizations have provided letters of support, including NAS Pensacola, the Florida-Alabama TPO, the Warrington Redevelopment Committee, and 3 neighborhood watch groups from Navy Point, Warrington, and Bayou Davenport. So a lot of great support on this project. And we thank you for the opportunity to present this project.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. And I don't know if the board has any questions, but I just want to, it's about $11 million project. I got to give Congressman Petronas a shout out. They got $3 million through the appropriation committee. We still got to get through the House and Senate, but when I talked to our lobbyists in DC, Gray Robinson, they said that was a good start. So, and we got the staff working on some things, as you know, with the third lane. We're going to have to do a little bit of administrative work with FDOT. But the 1,000 cars a day that are going in and jamming up traffic is, so I didn't realize it was that high. I couldn't believe it was that high when Steve shared that, Steve Opalenka. So great job on this. I look forward as we move forward. We got to find funding, but you did a great job, and I know the community is really excited about this
Mike,
project.
So that's not a misprint? I mean, as a layperson, that's 2 cars a minute they're having to turn around?
That's what they said. I couldn't believe it either.
Okay.
That's what they told us, right? I thought
That sounds crazy. I mean, that sounds
I
crazy.
thought the same thing, but I don't know. I'll go back and ask him again, but I thought the same thing. I said, how in the world is that possible? But I do go out the base probably twice a week, and I'm usually waiting, so 15, 20 minutes. Huh? What's that? Whatever. All right. Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate, I appreciate you coming and doing the brief. Board, if that's okay, would someone give a motion? Oh, timeout. I have 2 speakers. I didn't realize. Mel? You're waving in support. Okay. Yes, they're waving in support motion. Second. Okay, please vote. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you all very much. Okay, we're at CAT 1.2, right? County Attorney Report, Allison?
Yes, sir. There are 4 items on today's County Attorney's Report. Please hold item 2 for speakers and item 4 for comment from Commissioner Hoffberger.
Second.
Okay, please vote. All right, motion passes 5-0. We're at Navy Point Public Hearing. Mel, would you like to come up for that? 1-2. And then Kevin, you're on deck.
Wow, this is so big. I don't know if you know how big this is, Chairman Kohler, really. I mean, it has been so long in coming, and I'm not going to blab and blab because even though you haven't heard, believe it or not, all my blabbing on this, the commissioners that have been
I'm
here.
not sure about that, Mel.
I'm pretty sure there's more that Commissioner May and Commissioner Berry have had to hear over the years. I just really thank you, not just for being willing to bring it, but just for being so agreeable on hammering out, the stuff behind it. And I did really work hard on trying to think of something that would just keep this small and reasonable, and I think it's wonderful. And, we did not put it out for people to come down and speak today, but I think you're going to have a lot of thanks, and hopefully we can pack a room, but we'll all wave in support, and we won't take up too much time. But this moment really needed to be recognized because you just have no idea what an onslaught that park has been under for a really long time. So thank you for letting me and probably a lot of other people sleep more easily at night on it.
Thank you, Mel. Kevin?
Kevin Wade, 4 and 3 Southeast Boblets. Again, thank you for this. This is watching the people yesterday, watching the Blue Angels. There's quite a few that showed up that have been coming for decades just to see the Blue Angels, and they're here for 3 whole weeks, mostly to watch the Blue Angels and experience this area. And when the base closed down and kept people from coming out to watch the Blues from the base, that's when these people found the Navy Point Park. And I love seeing that many folks hanging out. It's awesome. And seeing a good protection for this and protection for our bays and estuaries. Thank you. Thank you much.
Thank you so much. Board, if I can have a motion to move that item? Okay, please vote. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, Commissioner Hopberger, I think you're up to discuss tiny homes.
Yes, so I wanted to put this on the agenda just to have an open conversation, find out where everybody stood. What do you like? What do you not like? What are your concerns? See if we could move forward with a tiny home ordinance of some sort that would make everyone comfortable while still preserving the integrity of our communities. So just wanted to open that up for conversation and see where everybody stood.
Okay, board.
Okay. I would agree.
So, Commissioner, I'm not sure exactly what the ordinance would be related to. Over the last 7 or 8 years, we've put 5 or 6 tiny homes in District 5. They're infill, infill situations where you've got either a dilapidated lot or you've got, I think 2 of them have been properties that the county had acquired through code enforcement, through code enforcement issues, and then we had to demo it, and then we've, put it back on the private rolls, and then, partnered with CAPC or somebody, or I don't know who all. I know Community Action does it, but I don't know who else. But and Claire's office, of course, to put them on the ground. They've been successful in those areas. I mean, is that what you're talking about? You want to do that in some areas of District 4 where you've got some infill issues or some code issues where we've acquired some lots and you want to kind of piecemeal it? That has seemed to work in District 5. I can't speak for the other districts, but.
I'm glad that there's a track record there. So my goal would be to be able to adopt Appendix Q so that we could allow for tiny homes to go in. And then the question would be, what places could we put those in? So what zoning areas, Horace, you're nodding, so I'm doing good. Okay, so what areas could we put those in? And I think one of the prior concerns was putting too many of them on one parcel. So if we could maybe consider adopting Appendix Q and allowing those to go into medium, high density, and then commercial areas. I didn't know if that would be an option the board would be open to. Obviously, we would have to put this back on Horace's department to bring us something to approve, but I wanted to provide some direction today if we could get a consensus on that.
Commissioner Strober, your light's off. Commissioner Hopperger, I struggle with this, and I'm going to tell you why. And I'm just going to put out there because none of us are going to want a tiny home where we live. Let's be honest. President Lincoln once said, I don't want to be a slave, so I ain't going to be a slave owner. If I'm not going to put a tiny house in my yard, I'm not going to force it on poor communities where their equity is going to be less.
I would put one in my yard.
You would?
Absolutely. My mother-in-law lives 8 houses down. My grandfather or father-in-law is getting old.
Maybe you can kick it off for us. But I'll be there for the ribbon cutting. But
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, I'm for affordable housing, but I'm very nervous about this. If you look at what you say here, I'm 6'2". The ceiling height's 6'4" for a bathroom. What we're doing here, I don't know if tall people could actually live in
I'm
these
only
things.
5'3". I could reach everything.
Yeah, but it's discriminative against tall people. They won't be able to live in these houses. I'm tall, so I have a problem with that. I mean, that's what the Appendix Q says. And so the other problem I have is when you look at this, is conditional use, and then you want to put it in commercial. I don't know. I don't think I want to make Cordova Mall a tiny home farm. I mean, I have a lot of issues here. If it was to go into potentially an RV park or something that we already have, but I can't, at good value, knowing that the people that I represent in Beach Haven, in Ara Vista, in Edgewater, and Myrtle Grove, that bought a house for $30,000, and now it's worth $180,000. And their equity, they want to feel good about what they have, and I'm going to put a tiny home and decrease their property value. I can't do it. I can't do it. So for me, it's not fair. And I want to do what's right by affordable housing. I love what Habitat for Humanity does. I actually think high-density elevated structures are probably a better plan, but I'm very cautious on this. I don't want to say completely no, but look at what they did down on Garden, leading in town. They put 5 tiny houses. Those don't fit, and around behind them, their houses are going for $400,000. I mean, one of the things I think we've not done real well in Escambia County is planning and zoning. We haven't done planning and zoning right. So if we were to do this, and this is pretty open. I think there needs to be a lot more controls on this before I can get to yes. I want to have good planning and zoning, and that's my concern. It's not that I want to be against you, but at the same time, I have concerns with equity. I have concerns on how we do planning and zoning, and I do think there's probably potential area that we could do this, but I think it needs a lot more discussion.
You know, I think you're absolutely right. And one of the things that you mentioned was trailer parks. And what I've seen in research is a lot of communities are using this to rehab trailer parks to actually raise the property value of neighboring communities. And so you wouldn't be comfortable with the commercial use. What about high density where apartments would
High
be
density probably could be something.
Okay.
Trailer parks, I think commercial's a bad idea personally. I don't want them down, you don't want them on Bio Boulevard.
So if you're, well, no, I wouldn't mind. And there's actually one right off of 12th Avenue that's really cute. There's 5 different homes in there, and they're being used as VRBOs. It looks nice. I've never seen any problems. I drive by daily. So it sounds like medium to high density, or high density you would be comfortable with?
High density in trailer parks is where I'd be more
Okay.
likely to consider. Commissioner May?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mike, there's a difference between accessory dwellings where you put a tiny home or shed behind your nice house as a mother-in-law suite, rather than making a planned community of tiny homes. Tiny homes, don't solve the problem of our housing shortage when a family has 3 children and a single mom. I mean, it has a specific niche, and I think that's a niche that has to be addressed, but it certainly doesn't address our affordable housing issue in terms of a family. A family is not going to fit in a tiny home, and if they were to get in a tiny home, it would certainly not aid in their socialization process. And we can say whatever we want to say about tiny houses and trailers. We can't even put a tax credit project in some neighborhoods. If you don't believe it, do it and see how many people come from Myrtle Grove and say, we don't want that. It's NIMBY, not in my backyard. It's just the way it's, and every time we get ready to pass one of those, just on affordable housing, mixed income use, this place is packed, and we never can get them passed. And that's the truth. And so when we look at these tiny houses, I'm open actually to looking at any neighborhood, any commissioner that wants to bring a project. And I'm sure there's pockets of my district that, there can be a consideration for tiny homes, but to have a blanket ordinance that says that, they can put them, because we know what happens where you put them. You put them in the neighborhoods where people have the least amount of resistance. So the cost of dirt is going to determine the structure that you're going to put on most of us are builders or developers. You're not going to put a tiny home in North Hill, East Hill, Scenic Highway. It's just not coming. It's not coming on Pensacola Beach. It's just not coming. The sand costs too much. So where do they get stuck? Just like Habitat's a great organization. I support it. Where do they all get concentrated? In low-income neighborhoods. And then you cluster, everything looks the same. I'm all about mixed use. I'm all about infill building and having, a $500,000 house and having another house. But as the chairman just said, if I'm going to invest in my property, I don't want someone to come and put a $20,000 property next to my $1 million property, because I got to get appraisals for refinancing and all those things. So I'm open for the discussion. I think it takes a lot of community input. I mean, there's a lot of covenants and established neighborhood associations, historical neighborhood associations, that we should have all that input before we just do a blanket, because it has, I believe where you're going has good intentions, but it can have some unintended consequences that can, certainly devalue people's property, and what it could cause is you have this ordinance, we can end up being in meetings 20 hours every time you bring one of these things. Every time it goes to planning and zoning, it doesn't matter what HARS or zoning says. The moment it comes to this board, people are going to pack this board, and our mandate is to listen to the constituents. And so if 90% of someone in a neighborhood that I represent say they don't want it in their neighborhood, I don't want it in their neighborhood. It's up to the constituents for me. So that's where I am, Ashley.
So if we did the high-density areas only, would that would rule out most of your neighborhoods, correct? Because they're medium to low density?
I would say quite a few, yeah.
Okay.
CRAs, though, Commissioner Hofberger, see, I read this, and that seems counterproductive for what we're trying to do in CRAs. I don't like, most of our CRAs in the county, unlike the city, which the West Side CRA is, but the other two, all of my CRAs are under the median income of what people make in Escambia County. And so we're trying to redevelop these areas. I just think it's counterproductive for what we're trying to do with CRAs, but so I would probably be against putting them unless they're like density or trailer park, I would not be in favor of putting them in CRAs.
And Mike, and so, I mean, we have a strategic plan for all CRAs. I mean, by statute, it has to be a written plan. I mean, to me, like you said, we've done a poor job of planning.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we should write those into our plan it, and exactly define how we want these neighborhoods to look, rather than be reactionary to it. And it should always be a part of the plan before we pass an ordinance, and then we have to retract. I mean, so to me, you have to write it a part of the plan and think about the plan and have a lot of input before we go. I mean, because there are a lot of infill lots in District 3, but we own land on Pensacola Beach. So, if we're going to take some infill land, in the hood and put some tiny houses, let's take some somewhere else.
Hey,
I mean,
they'll rent them out.
Yeah,
They'll do
that's
it all
right.
day.
We'll put them there. Hey, listen, we can start. We can take Santa Rosa Island Authority, reduce their size, and put some behind there. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to put some houses there.
Jim's got a couple in his RV park.
But we don't have an
Well, hey,
ordinance.
Jim Cramer's
Maybe we
cost
need
more
to
than
put
house.
code on him.
But so actually, I'm not against them. I think that there's a niche, but I think we can take them on an individual basis. I mean, and then give consideration to the citizens who are in those neighborhoods.
So would you be comfortable if it was one of the things that came to us for approval every time? If it was more than one per lot? Or what would that look like for you?
I like that better.
Yeah, certainly, I mean, I wouldn't vote any ordinance that would give someone that's not elected the opportunity to decide what goes in a neighborhood that represents the citizens. I mean, we represent the citizens in our neighborhood.
Commissioner Barry, I'm sorry, he's up next. And
Thank you, Mr.
Did
Chairman.
you want to comment first? Okay, Commissioner Barry.
Commissioner, I think what you're hearing is, I don't think there's going to be any support for an ordinance or a change in ordinance or code. I think if you've got an idea for a project or a parcel or something specific like that, I think there could be, based on the comments of our colleagues, I think it sounds like there could be support for that. I think this is, one of the reasons I haven't objected to a couple of them, going into District 5 is it's not a concentration. We're not having, it's not a community that's being built. It's, and it's not in an area, it's not in an area where it's pulling down equity surrounding it, because there's, there are other potential issues surrounding where some of the homes have gone. But if you bring something forward that's got, a specific intent and a specific area, I think the board could, could be supportive of that in that endeavor. I think overall, this is the type of thing that's going to take some time, some time to get used to and some familiarity, not just amongst the board, but among the citizens. And, if you had based on, again, some comments from our colleagues, if you had a dilapidated trailer park where we've had, code issues, there's drug issues, there's, I know human trafficking is a thing in some of the trailer parks, and, sex work. I mean, where those things are going on, and you have a cooperation with an owner that has that would like to put a tiny home community instead of have the trailer park there. And that one project come forward, to the board as an idea. The board, I know we have a lot of authority and a lot of latitude, and we can, we could approve, we can approve ideas on a specific basis, depending on the zoning. And if we have to make some specific, we can have, I know a development order is something we can strike with a landowner that can go outside of some of the established zoning and future land use categories.
It is true, the last few state legislative sessions, they have made massive changes to growth management authority that potentially would open some doors. Commissioner Hoffberg and I were talking about one just this morning as a possibility regarding church-owned properties. And then, they've addressed some of the zoning categories where you don't even have the ability to stop if it qualifies as affordable housing under state law.
Right. So what's going to happen, I would fear, and again, I think it's what's been articulated by our colleagues, I would fear that an ordinance or, code change, it's not what the reality, it's not what is actually going to happen. It's what's the worst thing that could happen now.
Right.
And that would fill the room. I mean, it's, if you say in anything MDR or higher or any HDR, well, it turns out, John Doe lives here and there's HDR, 150 yards away from him. Well, he's going to fear there's going to be a tiny home community there. And then that's going to include every HDR community, every HDR parcel that we have in the county. And we'll have hundreds of constituents in all of our districts that have HDR close to them. I'm just using that as an example. So I think any category you tried to pick would have, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? And that's what people would fear. But if there's an idea, if the origin of the conversation, or you asking it to be put on the agenda, does surround a specific project, if there's an idea, then I think there's an appetite amongst most of us to hear a specific idea.
Thank you, Commissioner Berry. Commissioner Stroberger? Did you want to comment?
So I'm in favor of these tiny homes, but I'm also not in favor of them. I'm not in favor of them where I live. There's several properties around where I
Come on,
live.
Steve, put one on each side of your house.
You people really don't like your grandparents, do you?
Hey, when
There are
you work
empty
for-
lots
when you
around
work
my
to
house.
build your equity, people want to keep it.
I got empty lots around my house, and I would not enjoy seeing a bunch of tiny homes showing up on those lots. So I agree with Commissioner May. It would be up to the residents to decide if they wanted one in their area. I think what you were talking about, Commissioner Hoffberger, was like a mother-in-law suite is what you're thinking about. That sounds great to me, too. And keep my mother-in-law outside my house.
Boy, your wife's going to beat you up, buddy.
I really hope she's not watching this.
But I think we need to look at areas where they've tried this, and I think New Orleans is one place that hasn't been successful. I don't like clusters of these tiny homes, because I don't want to create tiny ghettos. Where have they been successful? I don't know where they've been successful. I like the idea of trailer parks or dilapidated areas. That would be okay. Any place where it would be an improvement. You know, and I've seen lots of places where we can make some improvements. I support Habitat. I don't know that this is as cost-effective. In fact, I don't think it's as cost-effective as the houses that Habitat for Humanity builds. So I want to get a better look at that. And I want to see where it has been successful and where it hasn't been successful, to kind of figure out what the lessons learned from that is, so we can figure out where we can succeed.
That is great feedback, and I really do appreciate
Can
it.
I ask one more question? So when I read through the backups, the tiny homes, and I know that you're luring over everything, were you looking at slabs or mobile tiny homes, or both?
It would need to be on a slab, because I feel like a mobile tiny home, you get into the same situation as a trailer
That's
park.
what I wanted to hear, because I know when Senator Broxton and Jim asked me to go out to the Century Prison, I think they're building them on mobile, like a RV trailer, yeah. So your intent would be on slabs for what we would do?
Yeah,
Okay.
otherwise I feel like you face the same thing, 10 years, it's going to look like a trailer park, and we don't want that. And Commissioner Berry, I think you're right. Fear is a big thing, and it is always worst-case scenario, and I think we do have to consider that. So I appreciate that. One of the things, Allison, that came up, can we currently build tiny homes in the county? We can?
Yeah, I mean, Tim Tolbert is going to be more of an expert in that than I am, but the actual
Come on up,
idea
Tim.
of a structure, yes.
Okay, so we
that
can
is
build a
lawful.
home. We've adopted Appendix Q then? No, so how does that
No.
work?
Mr. Chairman,
Hey, Tim.
that Appendix Q just gives some relief to the minimums in the building code. For example, the building code, the minimum room size is 70 square foot for a habitable space. It's not very big. It has to be 7 foot long, for example. Ceiling height 7 foot rather than 6'8". That's some comparisons. It's not, gives you some relief, but not a whole lot.
So Tim, that was one of the issues I had, was the height in the bathroom. It's 6'4". I mean, I literally would be like this, I think that should be changed if we were to go forward with something. That's really low. I mean, if you were to go in the bathroom, like I was thinking about this, taking a shower today. I raise my hand up, I'm looking at this because I think about this. I'm like, I'd literally have to be down like this to take a shower.
Well,
Yeah, and it's cheaper honestly, it's cheaper to take an 8-foot stud than to cut a stud down to 6 foot. I mean, labor-wise, I mean, it's standard building, an 8-foot stud. So, I mean,
The minimum in the building code is 6'8" in a bathroom.
Yeah, well, that's not what Appendix Q says. It says 6'4".
Right, but you would have to adopt Appendix Q.
So there's things like that I think need to be
Okay,
looked at.
that makes sense. I
And,
took a note on that.
Tim, what about this? What if I want to inhabit one of those storage containers? I mean, people are using those to move into. I mean, so can they put that in too, if I wanted to use one of those in a
Sure.
resident?
Yeah,
Could.
and that's happened, yeah. It has to meet the building code requirements, but yeah. You do that.
You're talking like the shipping containers?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
A lot of people living in those. It's big in Sarasota. They have upstairs, downstairs. They box them together.
That's cool.
Actually, I mean, I think I concur because we could talk about, if there's a specific project that you wanted and you wanted me to support in your district, you got my full support.
And we can do that without it being a spot zoning problem?
I would assume we could.
Well, I think
I mean, I
the
think it
board
kinda
could
depends
vote
on
on
where-
an
I mean,
individual one, right?
I think it just kind of depends on where it is, and
So we can't do it without it being a spot zoning, or we can? Or do you want me to just come up with one and we'll see how it goes?
Yeah, why don't we just come up with one and see how it works? How about that? How about that? Rather than getting, just bring one on.
This is, and I said very, very diplomatically, with lots of diplomacy. I have questions all day long about different structures for zoning for homes. I have them from RVs to backyard sheds, and where they want to go in any area. So those are the things that we have to consider. The area, the type, the size, the zoning. Our zoning is very, very sporadic. It was here before me. It was here before me. And I inherited a lot of things that were here before me. I have HDR right next to MDR. And the land use rights are those things. So all of those things have to be considered. But again, as if there's specific areas, we could work with some things, plan unit developments, PUDs, development agreements, things like that, where we can cater to a specific project or specific site with those matters. And we can do that as Commissioner Barry stated. PUD and plan unit developments and development agreements and those type of things.
Actually, I think that's what everyone's saying. Just bring it and then have that
you.
conversation.
I like it. I appreciate the support. Thank you
Okay.
so much. And thank you for everyone's opinions and transparency. And when I talked to Allison, this is exactly what I wanted. I just wanted to know where everybody stood and what would be supported. So thank you so much.
Well, that took a lot of courage to bring that up
Yeah,
because
thanks,
it's a
man.
complicated issue.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like Stroberg. I don't want it next to my house.
I don't either. I'll get tarred and floated and start a leak. All right, board. I think that's everything for today. That convenes our meeting. Thank you very much.